Yo, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, man. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are live for the MUFC Unfiltered podcast. And I'm with my brother, who I will be going Bilbao with, man like Ash. Ash Meppers, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, all good, all good. A nice day today. Went down to Alton Towers for the international lads. That's like a big theme park in the UK, one of the biggest. And you know when I go to any like big places like that, I'm always on like shirt watch, like who's wearing what shirts and that.
Yeah.
And I noticed today mainly United. So United came out top. Then Villa, surprised. I saw loads of Villa shirts.
Wow.
Loads of Villa shirts. Then Liverpool, didn't see any City shirts, see no City shirts. And then a couple of Real Madrid and Barcelona's dotted about, but still proud to see United dotted about everywhere, even though as poor as we've been, do you know what I mean? So that's decent. But yeah, Villa on the rise, apparently. And we're talking about a villain today, yes, I'm sure. So
yeah, they've been in my mentions, man. They all want 3 points from us on Sunday. And I'm like, listen, we give 3 points. Forget saying you don't have to you don't have to worry about Sunday, man. Like,
you don't have to ask to take him, do you know what I mean? Yeah, you don't have to ask for 3 points.
You don't even ask, man. You know what I mean?
No.
So, yeah, man. Nah, big up, man. Big up to everyone locked in, man. Good to see United are still there, loud and proud, man, because it's not looking good round here. But big up to everyone locked in, man. Please hit the like button. The first thing you should be doing before we even start talking about football, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. But Ash, man, we're flying out tomorrow, man. How you feeling, man? We're, Bilbao, big week, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous, bro. Every day that goes past, I'm nervous, man. And you know what I mean? I feel like, I feel like for me, maybe going there might just calm my nerves. I don't know. Or will it even maybe cause a bit more nerves? I don't know, man. But how you feeling, bro?
Yeah, every time I've thought about it this past week, I'm excited to go, obviously. I'm excited for the journey, excited for the drive, excited to be there in Bilbao at the Europa League final. But every time I've thought about it, I feel a little bit sick. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like there's inevitable, you mentioned it yesterday. Do you know what I mean? What was it? It's the year of the first win. The year of the underdogs. Do you know what I mean? Like, just hearing that, and seeing it's going to be Spurs that have the potential to upset. I'd feel a little bit more comfortable if it was a European side. Like we played against Bilbao and Lyon and all that, but the fact that we're going up against the Premier League team, we've stanked the place out. We've only beat in the league this year, 9 Premier League teams? That's wild, that. 9 Premier League teams, and 3 of them are relegation. Do you know what I mean? Candidates, or the ones who got relegated. Yeah, so
and one of them one of them was last minute winner. One of them was one shot from Martinez, and then one of them was a red card that we got, and then it helped us win. So it's like, I don't know, man. But like I said, in Europe, it's been a different story. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, Tottenham fans are there. They're excited. They're gonna be there. But boy, oh boy, man, it's.
You're looking at their injuries as well, and you're thinking, that gives us a little bit of a bonus. The fact they've not got Bergvall, they've not got Maddison. There's a few there missing, and it gives you a little bit of confidence. But you know what? Yeah. Watching Ahmad the other night against Chelsea, I'm worried about him coming into form. Is it a little bit too early for him? And you watch Højlund as well, and the guy stinks the place out. And it's one of those where, do we even start him on Wednesday?
Yeah,
because you put Mainu up top, and at least he's going to do something. But I'm nervous. I'm really, really nervous about Wednesday. I want to enjoy the drive out. I'm going to enjoy, the whole atmosphere, but the actual once the game actually kicks off, then it's going to be a stink fest, isn't it? Two teams that have been playing poor, and I'm not going to worry. I feel like if Spurs go ahead, then we can bring it back. The worry I'd have is if we go ahead and we get comfortable. We've seen that whenever we play well in games, we tend to then all of a sudden just kind of relax and just sit back. So it's definitely a sickener, and I'm just trying to not think about Wednesday, for being honest. I just want to get there.
You know what we could do? We could talk about transfer news while we would that kind of like get everyone a bit more You know what I mean? Distracted. I know it sounds crazy transfer news, but there is actually some transfer news to talk about, and some like I don't know whether this is fully true, but there are big rumors that Man United are in for Emi Martinez. Emi Martinez has an offer from Man United. He is set to leave Villa at the end of the season. Like, he's leaving, by the way. So that's one thing. Like, he is leaving. That's confirmed. Everyone's saying it. Fabrizio said it. A lot of them said it, you know. I'm not going to lie to you, yeah. I'm all for Martinez, you know. I don't mind the age. I think he's, 32? A lot of people are looking at this bad year that he's had. And I'm not going to lie to you. He has had a bad year. He's not been the same Martinez. I've seen a few mistakes. But if you look at experience, if you look at the money as well, I don't think it's going to cost you a lot in terms of the price tag. Experience, like I said to you, you know what you're getting is Premier League proven. And yeah, like this season, he's had a bad season. I'm not going to lie to you, he's had a bad season. But I think the experience, the know-how, the intelligence, the mind games, I feel like he's the kind of guy that he lives up to that. You see, Onana, he don't live up to anything. This guy lives up to it. When he says he'll deliver, he'll deliver. You feel me? Like, he's there on the big moments. And people can say whatever about the mistakes here, but he's been in games where, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've seen him make absolute worldy saves, bro. Where you've like, wow, how's he done that? So, but he's got good fundamentals. I think he's an old school kind of goalkeeper. He still can play out from the back. He's not like the worst on the ball. But you know what, man? I'm not gonna lie to you. I think if there's an offer there and United make the move, I'm not standing against that, bro. I'm not. Ash,
yeah,
go on.
It's price though, isn't it? Like what we're saying price wise, you know, that's the worry when you could potentially bring in, you know, someone a little bit cheaper, a little bit younger. And Emi Martinez, I like him. You know, he's got a big personality, he brings a big character, but he's got the same big mistake in him as Onana, hasn't he? You know, you see him, you know, have those, and that's not something that's just this season. That's been something that we've seen over the last couple of years. Yeah. So that does worry me, you know. But if you're offering me Martinez right now over Onana, then definitely I'm taking him, because we can't go into next season with Onana again. I'm just waiting for his next big mistake. You know, he was close to it against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, weren't he? Where he just palms it back. And some of his save styles, you know, when he's going with two hands when he can reach with one.
Oh
like,
my
it's
God,
just
man.
amateur goalkeeping. Like what we're doing here, but I feel like Martinez, it feels like a stopgap between an actual decent keeper that we'll go and get, you know, Joan Garcia, whoever. I do like his penalty saves. You know, his record in penalties is incredible. But yeah, no, for me, I can't be too excited about it. Do you know what I mean? You know, because there is other goalkeepers. That's a
good thing, though. That's a good thing, though. You don't want to be excited by goalkeepers. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think, for me, I'm like, yo, this is an amazing play out the back keeper. Like, we know what Martinez is. Like, we know he's not a bad goalkeeper. We know that he's, I think, for me, a good goalkeeper. Is he, like, I don't know, people always say, is he world class? He's always on that periphery. World Cup, he was world class. You know, a season before, he was world class. Now, has his levels dropped? I don't know. But in terms of like, we haven't looked at Martinez and thought, yo, he's a bad goalkeeper. He's almost like a liability. He's not a liability. All I need is my goalkeeper not to be a liability, not to be that goalkeeper that, bro, everyone's targeting Martinez. We're not. He can claim his commanding of the box as well is good. You know, and for me, you know, when you look at, like I said to you, just the presence, and he's got that kind of like, I'm not saying aura, but like that feel of, you know what, people behind him are gonna be like, yo, right, we need to watch out here, because this guy's gonna be demanding a lot from us. You know what I'm saying?
It feels like a captain. Remember, like when we had Schmeichel as a captain. I mean, it feels like someone there who's gonna lead the back line. You know, gonna keep him in tow. You know, 2-time Yashin winner as well. You know, that's that best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
two-time best goalkeeper in the world, the only goalkeeper to have ever done it in history. You know, it's one of those. I'm mixed though. Like I said, you know, I'm excited for it because it's a replacement on Onana, but you know, it's the mistakes. And then are we getting ourselves into another player where they're on the decline rather than they're on the way up? Do you know what I mean? And you say we don't get excited. You don't get excited about signing goalkeepers, but you know, you had to be excited if you're a Liverpool fan signing Alisson from Roma. Roma was looking like one of the premier goalkeepers in world football at that time. You know, you look at Ederson as well. Do you know what I mean? Those were exciting signings. Like Jan Oblak staying at Atletico Madrid, he'd have been an outstanding signing for any top team. You know, it's one of those. Right now in the world of football, there isn't too many top tier goalkeepers. You know, so. Is it a stopgap? But then you look at Flecken at Brentford, and you look at what's he for Bruggen at Brighton. Yeah, you know what I mean, those are all goalkeepers that could potentially be on the way up and that could be got. Whereas Emi Martinez, you know, he feels like we're signing him almost as a shirt seller again, like just because he's a big personality, you know, and he's a big name, and you know he's a World Cup winner. Well.
Yeah.
Sells at Forest. But how old is Sells?
Because he's like similar age. He's like similar age, 32, 31, 32. Yeah, he's another one. Yeah, he's 33. Yeah, 33.
Yeah, 33. Looks old. I was going to say that hairline.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's
the hairline's mad. Yeah, the hairline. Yeah.
I can't get too excited about it.
His contract does run out in 2029, which is a little bit of a problem because that means then I don't know what the price tag will be then. You know what I mean? But United, for me, that other goalkeeper, the Serbian goalkeeper, I wouldn't mind as well. Like he's another one that I don't mind as well. But if United,
Milinkovic-Savic.
Yeah. But like I said, if United have made the offer and it's concrete, I'm all in for that one. I can't lie to you. I think for me, we need to go get a goalkeeper. People are brushing it under the carpet, bro. We don't need a goalkeeper. It's really annoying me, bro. We need a goalkeeper, bro. Like this 100%. Summer, a goalkeeper is priority. I don't care where on the list it is. It's a priority because I'm not having another season with that bozo in net, bro. I'm not having another season with Onana in goal. We're just not doing that. We're not, guys, because we've seen it time and time again. Onana ain't good enough, bro. He ain't. You know, and we're talking about Champions League. You see what happened in the Champions League last year? If we do end up going through, you know, you see what happened last year in Champions League? That will be on his head. Imagine starting the season in the Champions League with Onana. Then all of a sudden you got TNT and Amazon Prime showing us Onana from 2 years ago. Nah, mate, not having that. I'm not having them VTs of Onana's mistakes in Champions League. Nah, mate, we're not doing that. So please, like I said, go and get me a competent goalkeeper. That's all we ask for. Competence. You don't even have to get world class nowadays. Like is Jan Sommer world class? He's not, but he's a competent, good goalkeeper. Not everyone has to be world class, you know. Barcelona got Szczesny into semi-finals. You know what I mean, bro? Like, yeah, cool. He's not
brought
amazing.
Brought him out of retirement.
Yeah, he's decent enough. You know what I mean, bro? Like, I like Chevalier, innit? That's the guy that I wanted. Yeah. It's another guy that it's a few weeks of negotiations. Whereas I'm like, yo, we don't need to do no negotiations now. Just get it sorted. You feel me? Just get it sorted. That's it.
Yeah, for
get
sure.
It sorted.
There's goalkeepers out there. You don't even need that decent of a goalkeeper. You just need someone who's solid. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You just need someone who's not Onana. Who's you remember that goal against Nottingham Forest where he just goes down so early. The amount of times he doesn't look like a professional goalkeeper. Sometimes he dives and he doesn't actually move. He stays in the same space. Like he just jumps up. And it's madness going in. And he's kicking. He was brought in to be decent on the ball and decent spreading the ball and building up from the back. Other than like a little dummy, the guy can't pass.
Yeah.
Like how many times have we seen at Old Trafford him putting it into touch? Do you know what I mean? He's poor. But we were linked with Zion as well. Remember him? the Japanese kid.
I don't. Yeah.
But there's been
Not
links
for
there,
me.
so we've been looking for a little bit. We had our kid Vitek, who against Rosenborg in pre-season had like a man of the match performance.
Yeah, man of the match. Remember that game? That feels like yesterday, man. That feels like
man of the
yesterday.
match performance, and then next minute he's out. He's gone. And
Where is he now? Where is he now? Where is he now?
I think he's by Leverkusen in it, but he's on the bench.
That's another one. That's another goalkeeper. Where is Vitek right now?
Well, maybe Czech Republic.
Vitek, Czech Republic goalkeeper. He is right now 21 years old. He's playing for Bal Wabe on loan from Man United. Again, how's that meant to help his confidence?
No idea. Yeah,
how many appearances he got for that club there? He has got this season for that club. Oh, he's all right. 15 appearances. He was on Accrington Stanley as well. For 18 games. He played for them 18 games. And he's been here, 15 games as well. So, yeah. 21 years old as well. Still relatively young.
Can't be doing worse than Onana, can he? That's the thing. We've seen Onana now. We've seen, 2 years of Onana, and the guy stinks. Like, how many times are you going into games expecting you're nervous? You've got to have confidence in your goalkeeper, and your back line has to have confidence in him as well, and it's just not there. You know, we're waiting for the next big mistake. It's been a couple of weeks. You know what? I was almost hoping that mistake at Chelsea was going to be that mistake, because then it kind of wakes him up and he doesn't have a mistake for a few weeks then.
Yeah.
But he's due now. He's due. He was close against Chelsea making a mistake. Now, is that going to be in the Europa League final? And I swear to God, if he costs us the Europa League final, like, we're desperate for a goalkeeper. People saying that's not a priority. It's a goalkeeper and a striker. Those are the two main priorities.
Yeah, your facts.
Main priorities. You see us get a decent goalkeeper and a decent striker, our fortunes will drastically change.
Drastically change. Yeah,
drastically change. Because what's Onana good at? It's something that I hark back to times. He's not good at anything. Like, he's not good distribution. He's not good claiming the ball from the box and corners. Do you know what I mean? He's not the best shot stopper from distance.
No.
You see him on free kicks. He leaves huge spaces on free kicks.
I don't actually know what he's actually good at. Maybe for the vibes in the dressing room.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and we spent 50 million on him when we could have got him for free the season before.
Man. But in the dressing room, the vibes, maybe he's good at that. That's his good at.
I like him. He has got a personality. Listening to interviews, he talks himself up
he's
really
got a
well.
little bit of personality. I like that.
He backs himself, and all goalkeepers, you've got to be a little bit insane to play that position. And he backs himself, but he's far from good enough, and it has to be a priority. Like, if you're asking me, I'd go goalkeeper even over striker. Do you know what I mean? That's how serious it is. Because you look at
Ilios. We'll get to the striker in a minute, but if them two don't happen, bro, we're in.
Well, you know what, Saeed? Look at the big difference. Look at how Liverpool changed off Alisson. One big signing, Alisson, and then it all started to turn around. You look at Arsenal with Ramsdale and Raya. Do you know what I mean? It was almost like the Ramsdale signing that kind of they needed that goalkeeper just to start their process off. You look at City with Ederson. Pep Guardiola went through Bravo and I can't remember who else, but a few goalkeepers. Do you know what I mean? And the same with us when we got Van der Sar. Like, we were struggling for years until we found Van der Sar again, and then we got ourselves back. And it's having that confidence at the back, having that goalkeeper who's solid. The foundation that's built on is your football team. You need that. And Onana sets the tone for our team. The guy's a fool, and our team looks foolish. Do you know what I mean? And that's how we've been. We've been a comedy team ever since. I mean, don't get me wrong, longer than he's been there, but he's heightened the comedy levels in our club. You see some of the mistakes he's made, some of the positioning and the saves and
spine is important, man. The spine, you gotta correct that spine, man. That spine is so important, guys. So we need to do that. Like I said, whoever it is, I don't know, Onana, whoever it is, you need to get that role. Emi Martinez, etc. Get the keeper sorted out, and I hope that whoever's the manager here as well doesn't see that as a position that's already covered. You see how some managers, what happens is they'll see certain positions are already covered. They see, what, we've got a goalkeeper. We've got this player here. We'll work with that for now, and then everything else we'll get when we need to. So I don't like that. I don't like the fact that they do that. You feel me? I want them to look at a goalkeeper and be like, yo, we need to sort this out and address it. You feel me? But one thing that we do need to address is the striker, man. Make sure you lot hit the like button. Gyökeres, I don't know what's going on, but United are seeming to looking at Gyökeres now, man. I don't know what's going on with the Osimhen situation, but apparently, from what we're hearing right now, Premier League remains a likeliest outcome for Viktor Gyökeres, with Man United strongly interested. I mean, listen, interested is a buzzword now, isn't it, in football? But he's got a package of 50 to 55 million. What are you saying, bro? Gyökeres. I don't mind Gyökeres, innit? I really don't, yeah. But bro, if he don't bang, yeah, and Ruben Amorim's here, that's his guy, you know. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're going back to the old days of, yo, this is his guy and it don't work, etc., etc. Big up Musa in the cup, man.
Yeah, all right, Musa.
What's happening? Yeah,
you know what it is for me? I'm kind of scarred by strikers from the League of Portugal. You look at Darwin Núñez. You look at, I'll bring up a name that the chap might remember. He might not remember. He went to Norwich from Sporting after bagging loads of goals for Sporting. What was it? Ricky van Wolfswinkel. Like, he scored something like 28 goals. And people were saying, yeah, he's going to be a beast. Do you know what I mean? Oh, he should sign.
Dost.
Yeah, Bas Dost. Yeah.
If you know about him.
Yeah, same. And it's just those Portuguese strike. Listen, you sign me a defender, a centre-back from the Portuguese league, I'm all over it. Do you know what I mean? I'm there. You look at Ruben Diaz, you look at Carvalho, there's a long line of defenders coming out of the League of Portugal that you can trust. Same even midfielders, but strikers, I'm struggling. And Gyökeres, he did it. Don't get me wrong. He's played there over in the Championship for Coventry and done a little bit over there, but I'm how on Osimhen. Do you know what I mean? You can tell he's got it. He's a striker. Do you know what I mean? He's got the aura. He's got the ability. You see his finishing. You see his movement, and it's something that I've not seen from Gyökeres. Gyökeres, he looks good with the ball at his feet. He looks good finishing in the final third, but positioning wise, he looks like he needs a lot of space. And whereas Osimhen's one that creates his space, Osimhen for me is a player that makes a bad ball into a good one. You just put the ball into the box, he's going to make something out of it. Do you know what I mean? And those are the kind of serious strikers that I like. You look at the Lewandowskis, your Benzemas, you go way back to Alan Shearer's, the players that, they make something out of bad passes, bad balls, even more recently, Harry Kane. Whereas Gyökeres, I don't feel like it's a risk, is what I'm saying. It's a risk. I've not seen him tested at the highest level.
Boy,
I've not seen him tested.
He's a risk here at 27 this year. He'll be 27, I think, in June, yeah. Bro, what is a risk?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What is risk then? The guy's got what? This season he's got...
Look at Núñez. Look at Núñez. People were saying what? He'd scored something like 25, 26 goals coming out of Benfica. You look at Gonçalo Ramos as well, who went to PSG, scoring loads of goals, looking like... We were linked with Gonçalo Ramos as well. Another one, again, and it's just for me, I'm just a little bit worried there. I just, you've got to do it in a Serie A, against elite defenders. You look at the defenders over in the Portuguese league, at the bottom half teams, and they're a bit sus. Do you know what I mean? Other than the top 3 or 4 teams, the rest of them. You heard Bruno Fernandes say it to the manager when he first came in. He said, "This league's not like the Portuguese league, where
I know. I've seen that.
You've seen that. Do you know what I mean? And that'll be the same with Gyökeres. And I worry about it. Do you know what I mean? So for me, even the lap, I'd even take the lap over Gyökeres. That's where I'm at with that one. And don't get me wrong, I understand Gyökeres has got the numbers, he's got the big numbers, but I just feel like you've got to have someone a little bit more prem proven.
Yeah, but I mean, this has got a what? 62 goals, 51 games, 53 goals, 12. It's 65 GA. I mean, Musa, if we can't be confident in that, I mean, we can talk about Osimhen as well, who's scoring in goals likewise. But what's your do you see as a character building Is it something about your character that you can survive in the Premier League? Is it like, I don't know, this Premier League is mad, bro. Look at Mateta for the FA Cup final. Man was linking up. That was almost a goal what he did, bro. Like, I know it sounds crazy, yeah, but if Mateta doesn't do that, the goal doesn't happen. But can Gyökeres do that for the team to then facilitate more goals? You see what I mean?
You know what it is? The problem is I don't think that Man United as a football club is a standard if a player can make it in the Premier League or not. So I always look at a player like Gyökeres and I think to myself, if Gyökeres goes to Liverpool, goes to City, goes to Arsenal, do we have the same conversation? I don't think we have the same conversation. I think if Gyökeres turns up at Arsenal next season, he comfortably gets them 15 goals in the Prem.
Yeah,
comfortably.
Easy.
And I think and I feel like that's the difference between a player going into a settled side that plays a certain way and are going to be already ready to get the best out of the attributes that player has, rather than a player that comes to a struggling team that doesn't even know what direction they're going in, and they haven't even got the best out of the midfield yet, or the centre backs, or the goalkeeper, let alone be ready to get the best out of the forward. And as we've seen all season, our forward play has been madness. It's just been total madness. And the amount of goals we've scored, the lack of ideas we have when he gets to the final third. So he's going to be coming in with a lot of experience, ready to hit the ground running, but he's going to find a side that is bereft of ideas. They don't know what they're doing. And I just feel like it's always difficult for any type of signing to walk into that type of environment. I just don't think Gyökeres goes to Liverpool and has this problem. I think he scores the goals that they want him to score at that age. I think if he does the same at Man City, they create the opportunities for this guy to score the goals. And sometimes when you look at teams like City and that, sometimes you're having a bad game, but because they create so many chances, they end up getting you 1 or 2 goals that you might not even deserve as a striker, because it's just put in a position where you can't even miss. You know what I mean? You find them. Man United used to be like that once upon a time, where someone hasn't scored for a long time, and you find that rather than the striker go and take the shot, he pulls it back for that other player, because you have the freedom to actually do that. You have the ability to be so comfortable to say, let's get this guy a goal. We're not in that position, bro. We're not in a position to get you goals. We're not in a position to help you. You need to come and do your own thing. That's where maybe someone like Osimhen kind of thrives, because sometimes Osimhen makes the best of a bad ball. He makes the best of a bad pass, and even a cross, because he can leap so high. Someone might put a cross in there that's not the best cross, and Osimhen leaps out of nowhere and just puts it in the back of the net, and we're like, what a great goal! But really, he's made the best out of a bad ball. But that being said, I don't look at any striker who's doing well in world football now, and I think just because he comes to Man United, he's going to be able to continue that form. I think there's a lot that we need to do.
I agree.
In terms of the way we played the game, and we're playing this system that Amran wants, that's going to allow strikers to score goals. Obviously, he's going to do better than flipping Højlund. He's going to keep the ball better. He's not going to be wrestling. He's not going to be doing all of those stuff. But if we think he's going to come and score these 60 goals, he's not going to do that.
Yeah. You know what it is as well? You got to remember, big up Adam, by the way. Big up for Ireland. It's a graveyard. They always say, man, United up front is a graveyard. I mean, Ronaldo, I don't want to say he managed to score 18 goals in it. And I get it. Most of them were 3-3-3-3. But even he struggled as well. Like, there was moments where he was like, he couldn't really grasp the energy of Bruno. Him and Bruno really, they didn't play well together. Like, I remember there was a time here where Bruno and Ronaldo were they were covering the same position. Because Ronaldo liked to drop deep and get involved in the play. Lukaku, remember Musa was saying 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Second season, why did it drop? Surely if a guy scored that many goals that first season, and then Zlatan was there as well, obviously, because the second season, then he got rid of Zlatan, but then it didn't work out. And then all of a sudden the crowd then found out about his first touch. Because in the first season, it was there, but it wasn't really being shown his first touch. Yeah. Second season, first touch got found out. So I feel like with United, it's like, you look at strikers like Berbatov, got good player, but good goal scorer. Van Persie, good player, good goal scorer. Andy Cole, good player, good goal scorer. Most of the strikers we've had here and that have been successful. Even a Martial,
Yeah,
good player,
Martial.
good goal scorer. Do you get what I mean? Like, guys, like, I don't
Cavani
think
as
you
well.
can just be a good goal scorer at Man
Cavani,
United.
yeah.
But that's where, for me, Wayne Rooney as well, good goal scorer, good footballer as well.
Those are
Like,
elite.
I maybe put that. Maybe Javi Hernandez is one of the few that was just a good goal scorer. Maybe his football was not there, but then again, he was.
He done the basics very well, though. When he used to get the ball,
I
he
know.
He done very well.
So basically, we've got to then maybe, I don't know, maybe we've got to program ourselves to realize, yo, these guys are just finishers. So what you need to do is build everything around that, and then you just be in the box, score goals. You're a box striker. I don't want to see you linking up play, doing all of this bull. Like, I need to see you just score goals. You see what I mean? I come to you, Adam. Is that what you want to see in a striker? Like, what's your ideal striker in terms of like what you want to see now that you look at Gyökeres and these kind of guys now?
Yeah, I agree with what Musa said. And regarding what you just said about the striker just being a gunman, if you want him only to score goals, well, then you don't start with him as a priority because it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I agree that striker is a priority, but if you want only a goal scorer that scores only goals, that doesn't play well all around, like players we had before, well, then it doesn't make sense to start with a striker because we are not going to create and to play well enough for him if you want him to be on the end of chances. So I'd much rather have someone just to in between and spend the money on building the team, because if you start creating chances and missing chances, well, then it's easy. The next step is the striker. But at the moment, it's the striker is a priority. Of course it is.
Yeah.
But we don't even realize how much of a priority it is. Maybe we could score more goals if we had a better team, and then we could play around with the budget around the striker. Do we need like to put all our money on the striker thing? Or maybe we can make do with someone that is not the best, but for the next 2 years, maybe we can get someone cheaper. So that's why I'd much rather have someone that plays well so that we can have the team playing well. And if we don't score goals based purely on the finishing issue, then you go all out on a striker.
Because I agree with you, man. If we look at the teams that's won the league recently, or the teams that, in recent years, or the teams that are fighting for it, bar Haaland coming in at City and they were winning leagues before him, no one's had that killer striker up front. Even Liverpool this season, who have they had playing up front? We're going to say Mo Salah, but he's on the
you know what? They've had Luis Diaz playing up front, bro.
They've had Luis Diaz, and this is what I'm saying, but they have a team and they have a front three of players who can get goal. I look at Cunha as a striker. I don't know anyone else. I know he can do the 10, he can do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But when I hear people talking about, do we need to go and spend mad money and stuff like that, I think like we've got enough in the team if we buy another number 10 to say that, cool, we've got enough 10s in there that can come in, whether it's Kobe, whether it's Ahmad, whether we get another one in there, that Cunha can go up front and actually score goals and play that number 9 role and allow us to add more goals in and around the team. But in certain games, still drop back into the 10 and maybe you put Cherki up there. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of going into the season and saying that Cherki and Cunha are going to do the number 9 roles if we fill up the rest of the side with proper footballing players and we start to establish a way of playing how we want to play. Because without doubt, I think what we've seen from Cherki, especially at the end of the season before he got his injury, shows you that if he's got 2 solid number 10s behind him, the guy can play ball. And he can create for them guys as well to run on behind him and score. And he can score himself.
But the thing is with Cunha, though, I want him to just do the 10 role, bro. I feel like for me, that's where his best position is.
That's the problem, Saeed, though, man. You see, when we get players who are able to like play multiple positions, whether it's like a front three that can cut in or play wide and stuff like that, we need them to be
again, we might not have Amrin. That's the thing is, we might not have Amrin. The maddest thing is, if we don't have Amrin, then Cunha becomes a striker.
Of course he does.
You know what I mean? It's true. That's why it's kind of crazy to think, the transfers, if they are building for Amrin, then Cunha fits well in the left 10 role. But then if he doesn't, then you know what I'm trying to say? Like he then becomes a striker. You see what I'm trying to say? And then is Cunha the striker that you need for Man United, or do you go and get a proper number 9 in Osimhen or Gyökeres? You see what I'm trying to say?
But if we played a 4-3-3 like or 4-2-3-1 that we used to, and we had Cherki with Cunha and Ahmad on the flanks in a forward 3, well, what would we be saying?
We'd play better.
We'd play better. There would have been no complaints if we had Cherki up front and Ahmad and Cunha on either side of him, and they're cutting in. Well, what would be our conversation? We wouldn't be on it wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be like, oh, this is not a good front 3. I don't think we'd have an issue. The problem will still be, and remember, this is why I'm on to Amrin, because I feel like Amrin is a coach where he bypasses the midfield with his wingers and how he plays the game. I need a manager, Saeed, who understands how serious that middle of the park is. Yeah. Like he wants to. This is why I wanted Xavi, and that was my only reason, because he puts an emphasis on the middle of the park and having a group of players who control the game there. I'm just not comfortable in any game where if you get a better team that controls the ball in the middle of the park and you can't bypass them, you're in trouble with Amrin. And that's the only issue. Like when he beat Man City, everyone was excited, but people forgot the season before that when City gave them 5. Yeah. And they just played them off the park.
Yep, I agree. I mean, it's one of them for me, man. There was a couple of super chats that came in. Why would Gyökeres come to you? He's coming to Arsenal. He doesn't want to be in the relegation battle. Zane's trolling here. Creflon Don said, no top striker with any sense in the world at 27 is coming to a struggling Man United. Maybe Delap because he's young and an old and proven striker that needs a big payday like Morata or Guirassy. I mean, what do you think to that, Ash? Have we got a project to sell there? Like, you know what I mean?
We've not No, but I think you boys, Adam Musa, just talked us out of signing Gyökeres and signing a more younger striker, someone like a Liam Delap. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's not. We don't necessarily need a ready-made number 9 killer right now. That's not the priority. We need someone who's solid, and we need to work around it. For me, like I said, you know, if I'm going to be signing anyone, I'm going to look to a Liam Delap. He looks solid to go in there. You know, we've seen what he's been able to do in the Premier League, and then you've got to put players pieces around him and start building the midfield, like Musa said as well, because that's the priority. You know, I feel like as much as we do need a goal scorer, a Gyökeres coming here, you know, the project's not right for him. You know, it's at a stage in his career where he wants to go and this is his last big contract, really. You know, 27, 28. This is like his career ender. This is where he finishes at a big club. So I'm not sure right now is the right time for us. Osimhen, a couple of years younger. You know, maybe we could do something there. You know, a little bit easier to deal with contract wise. But again, you're pushing up the wages. But for me, I feel like we're leaning towards a Liam Delap, and I'm okay with that as long as you put a Cunha, you got a Mad round him, you maybe add a Cherki as well in there. Do you know what I mean? You start fleshing out that forward line. You know, Xerxes comes back fit, you know, solid. That looks like a forward line there that's, you know, it can mix, it can change, you know, it can score goals, you know, it can play multiple positions, and that's one there that I'm excited for. Even you add a Delap and a Mateta. I mean, I don't know what Mateta's contract's looking like, but you know, there's been rumours he's possible.
He's got 1 year left on the contract, Mateta.
That's what I'm saying, and we've seen what Mateta's done for the past 2 seasons now. You know, he played really, really well, and he brings others into play. You saw the goal for the FA Cup. Do you know what I mean? That's all him. I'm looking at him thinking, oh, I wish Højlund did that. Do you know what I mean? Højlund's nowhere close to that. Do you know what I mean? The fact that he was able to take the ball, hold it, control it, turn, feed his man, then make that run into the box and occupy midfielders and defenders. That's just something that we've not seen now for a couple of seasons, and Mateta in our team would make a world of difference. So that's why I don't feel like a Gyökeres is necessary for me. I'm not moving for a Gyökeres right now. I'm looking at other positions.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I think for me, we've tried that route, and I'm not comparing Højlund to Gyökeres, but we've tried that route. Maybe it's better we go and get a player that can link up a little bit better and do the fundamentals, but then can score goals. Because listen, Mateta's got double digits goal-wise in the past 2 years. We're not saying he's a shabby goal scorer. And for me, if you could go and get 15 Premier League goals, yeah, I'm actually happy with that, you know, Bandem. if you can guarantee me 15 Premier League goals, yeah, then I can say, you know what? I know I feel like I sound like, you know, at the start of the season, Ash, when I was talking about goals and how many people should get, but 15 from the striker, 10 from Ahmad, 10 from Bruno if he's here, you know, 10 can come from Cunha. It should be spread out. It shouldn't be a case of like your striker gets 30 goals. I don't want that. Like, exactly. I'd rather him get 15, everyone else gets 10. You know what I mean, bro? Like it's
you know what?
out.
To back that, Saeed, how many times in the how many times in the Premier League era has the top goal scorer been a Premier League winner? Look at how many times Alan Shearer's been a top goal scorer in the sides, not won a Premier League. Look at how many times Harry Kane's been a top goal scorer in the Premier League, not won a Premier League. Do you know what I mean? So to back that point, the top goal scorers not necessarily are always. It is when the goals are spread throughout the team. Remember, we had one season. I'm not too sure if you remember, but we had something like 15 to 16 goal scorers when we won the league. Do you know what I mean? It was like almost every player in the team had scored a goal, and I love that. That's what you want. You want from a team where it's unexpected, because your opponents, one thing they know is if you've got a goal scorer in your team, they know to double up on him, they know to mark him, they know that, right, he's the problem. Do you know what I mean? And that's fairly easy to fix, especially with the quality of forwards that we have today. Whereas if you don't know where your goals are coming from, like what Liverpool have done in recent times, like you've seen Man City do it prior to Erling Haaland, when they had Jesus and they had different wide players scoring multiple goals. As a defensive unit, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know where the goal's coming from. There's danger's coming from everywhere, and we need to get back to that. Get Delap 10, 15 goals. Get Cunha 15 goals. Do you know what I mean? 10, 12 goals. He's doing it at that at the moment for Wolves. Why couldn't he do it for us? You get Cherki the same. Do you know what I mean? Then you get the assist. You add the midfield. You get Bruno. I know Adam's not going to appreciate me saying this. You get Bruno getting 10, 12 goals as well in that. Do you know what I mean? Then the players, that's how you win league titles. That's how you move up. That's how you cause problems for opposition teams, is by being unpredictable. So yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. You got also the small matter of Osimhen. He's around as well. That he's obviously won the league title now. You know what I mean? He's kind of almost will be like, you know what? I want to move on now. I've won this Turkish league. I've won the Serie A. Now it's time to now go to the Premier League now. And again, who's going to take the bait on him? Like, who's going to go and say, yo, Osimhen's the guy? Who's going to take it? Like, Chelsea? Is it United? Like, do United have the facility in terms of wages? You know, like
it feels like a Newcastle, that side. It feels like a Newcastle. They get rid of Isak and they replace Isak with Osimhen. Do you know what I mean? That feels like that he'd settle in there. That'd fit for me.
I'm looking at Cherki as well, looking at the guy in that Newcastle. I think people are underestimating what Newcastle are prepared to do.
Yeah,
and the way they get the job done. I'm looking at some of these players and thinking, if we play games, I can see them ending up there. I agree. Newcastle, even Aston Villa, they're prepared to make
Villa, man. I heard Villa today something about.
Villa's struggling with PSR though, Saeed. That's why they're having to sell Martinez.
No, but they'll get rid of one player though, and then that's it. They calm.
Opens up.
They just need to get rid of one player. This is the issue with PSR. Like, cool, it might sound like it's crazy, but then
they're trying to get rid of their number 9. What's his name? Watkins, isn't it? Yeah, they want to get rid of Watkins. They've made that clear.
Yeah.
Watkins. They've had to sell big players. They sold Duran. They sold Douglas Luiz. Do you know what I mean? They do have to sell. And they're going to have to sell again this season.
And Watkins will help with that homegrown stuff. I think they were ready to sell him and keep Duran, but he ended up wanting to go. So I don't know, man. I just feel United right now. If we're going to get rid of Højlund, I'm ready to get some. I don't mind Delap. I think if our scouts do their job and they have £30 million to go and scout the world football, they have 30 to 35 million to get a striker in. I think there are players out there that you can get in that have the attributes that we're looking for, but also not going to come here thinking I have to start every game. I think that's one of the biggest issues. I don't want no one coming here thinking they got to start, because for me, I look at Delap and I think he should be someone who basically we say we made a mistake with Højlund, and the caliber of player that we were looking around that age should have been someone with the attributes that Delap has, and it's just like a straight swap type of thing. One goes in, one comes out. But he has to be a player that's not, he's our number 9, he's 21, 22, and he has to lead our line for us. I don't want to have that. I don't want Delap I want him to be on the bench, I want him to come on, after 70 minutes. I want him to get a feel of, what United are doing, and to just do his thing and to keep it simple, like what he's been doing, what he's been doing this season in the league. I don't want him to come with that pressure of you're the new number 9. That Højlund pressure is a lot. That as much as we want to say whatever about Højlund, even last season was a better season for him in total. Like he was able to give up 16 goals. Like he scored 10 goals in a Prem. You know what I mean? Last season, and then we look at Delap, who we're raving about. He scored 12 goals. It's like the thing about Højlund is not just about the lack of goals. I think that we've seen from him this season. It's also that the way we've played the game has just opened up his flaws. And I keep on saying this. Sometimes Man United have a way of, rather than showing what a player is actually good at and playing to their attributes, we always play to their flaws, and they have no chance but to just look crap and to lose the game. And this is not to say, but this is why I say that Højlund goes away and still has a good career in another league and scores his 15 goals a season. Like I believe that. The same type of goals you're looking for, Saeed, Højlund goes and does that for another team somewhere else quietly. We might say it's a weaker league, it's that, but I don't see him disappearing because, like I said, Saeed, he scored those goals at United last season. He came in his first season at 20 years old, whatever he was. He scored us 16 goals in all competitions, and everybody was like, he was celebrating in the crowd, sitting there with Garnacho. And it was happy days.
His overall game was the one that was lacking because what it is.
His game's always been like that. When you look at Atalanta and you look at how Højlund played, go back and watch them games. It's the same Højlund. So what was we looking at? He also played on the wing a lot of the times, running onto balls. It was never.
And played in the 3-back system as well at Atalanta as well. Do you know what I mean? He played in the 3-back system under Gasperini.
Yeah. And he was running onto balls a lot of the time. It was never this, ball up the Højlund, control it, do all of that stuff. So when we got him, like he spent a lot of time on the floor. And guys, go and watch Delap. Delap spends a lot of the time on the floor, Yeah. I don't know what he's doing there, but Delap spends a lot of time on the floor.
Better principles, though.
No, Saeed.
Nah, he's much stronger.
Listen, guys. It's because he's not playing for us, but the amount of time he spends on the floor at his team now, if he comes in at United and there's more pressure and he just spends 10% more time on the floor, the fan base, they're not going to be easy, especially those who might think that, we should have kept Højlund or whatever, but he spends some time on the floor. I don't know what it is. He goes to ground a lot. So this is why I'm just keep on saying that. What are our scouts doing? Because guess what? Brighton will go out there and go and get these flipping players that cost £30 million, and we look at their strikers and say, right, that's a player there. He's fast, he's rapid, he can control the ball, he can do this, he can do... So why do we always have to get stuck on stupid and just look at a player and be like, yep, that's us, we have to go and get him? It has to be Delap. And United are feeding us this...
But the thing is, the Delap one is simple. He costs 30 million. He's someone that's got potential that they don't want to miss out on. They want the next Harry Kane.
No, but forget all of that. That's my problem. When you look at strikers around the world at his age group, is he in the top 10 strikers in world football at his age group?
Well,
that's not a question for us. That's not a question for us, though.
So he's 21. Sesko, same age.
No, I'm just talking about the ones that maybe that are not on the radar. That's not even a question for us. That's just a question for the scouting system that are watching the game in and are getting paid to do this. Because these guys... Go on.
Nah, I take Saeed. You said Sesko. That would probably be my top choice.
Sesko, yeah.
If he goes to PSG, I think that's a problem.
Okay.
I think he's on. I think if Arsenal don't get Goretzka, they want him. He's on their second.
They want Sesko. Yeah.
Which team that you said, Musa? Which team?
Arsenal.
That's I would hate that to happen as well.
Arsenal.
I like the prestige at Liam Delap. You look at him coming through the City Academy, and I got a lot of City friends, do you know what I mean, who watched him come through the academy, and the way they talked about him, the way they were talking about this kid's going to be sensational, do you know what I mean? Like, I've been hearing his name for years, mate, about Liam Delap, do you know what I mean? And then he was never made it. It was almost like I didn't hear it the same way with Cole Palmer and the rest of them. I heard a lot. I don't know about you, Si, but I heard a lot from Liam Delap. hearing it. Do you know what I mean? And it just
I did
feels
as
like
well. I did as well from City fans.
Yeah, City fans just spoke him from youth level. Do you know what I mean? Just like of this kid, he just understands how to finish. And you see, to score 12 goals, whatever, for a relegation team like Ipswich, to do that, you know, the way he holds the ball up, the way he brings others into play, the power, the presence he has at his age, you know, for such a young age, you know, the speed as well. It just feels for me like he's going to be one that if we don't end up signing him, he ends up going to an Arsenal or whoever. He's going to be someone who's we're going to regret not buying. When he was at Old Trafford, he was causing us problems. I'm there watching him live from the touchline. I'm watching him off the ball and his movement and the way he's got that old striker mentality about him. He kind of he pushes the defenders about. Do you know what I mean? You know, for a young lad to be doing that, to be moving about, something that we've seen from Højlund, who's just weak. You know, defenders just laugh at him. You know, he's trying to wrestle him and he's bouncing off him. Whereas you see with Lyon Delap, he looks like a big lad. And for me, his quality in his ball and the way he strikes and he finishes, I'm all over him. I feel like it'd be a big miss.
With Delap, I think he's everything we thought Højlund would be. And that's a good thing. I'm not saying that's the bad thing. I think he's everything we thought Højlund would be. The only thing I worry about Delap with his 12 goals in his first season in the Prem, that he could easily come to Man United and only score 7 or 8. And I don't want this. This is why I don't mind bringing him in and he's on the bench and he's feeling. But if we bring him in and he's the main number 9 at this age, and United is a problem, man. It's a problem for a lot of youth players and the development. I don't know the pathway we have for developing young players.
You know what it is though, Musa? I think he's got a chip on his shoulder though. I think he's pissed off that City did let him go. Do you know what I mean? He's one of them players like a Morgan Rogers. You know, City let him go, and then you see Morgan Rogers go and do like a Cole Palmer. Okay, his recent spell's not been so great, but he's got something to prove. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
He knows. He in his mind thought, I'm destined for big time. Do you know what I mean? And then City said, no, you're not. We don't think you're good enough. And then he's like, okay, well, I'll prove it. Do you know what I mean? You'll see. You know where better to do that at Man United. Do you know what I mean? I feel like
I doubt more United
step into it.
I doubt more the environment he's going to walk into than the player itself. Because for me, if Delap comes in and he's on the bench and he's getting 20 minutes and he only scores 10 goals next season, I still think it's a good season. He's a young player. He's developing. He's not in his prime years. But because of how, you know, the media's been with him and how like the United fan base is just after this striker because we've had such a bad time with Højlund, I don't know if we'll give him the time that he needs. And that's all I fear about him, because he's a young striker. Like, are we going to give him the time? This kid needs another 3 years to develop.
What we need to do is we need to partner him up with Mateta. Do you know what I mean? 1-2.
That's what I'm saying.
Go Mateta and Delap. Do you know what I mean? Just when Delap's not scoring, Mateta's in. When Mateta's not scoring, Delap's in. Just rotate. That's what we need to be doing.
He just has to be a sub player for me. I just think he just has to. I think it just has to be made clear he's not in the first 11. He's a sub player coming into United to be a squad player to add to the team, and we have to figure it out without him. If we can figure it out without Delap and he's on the bench, we'll have a good season. If we have to figure it out with him on the field and we can't do it without him, it's too much pressure. I'm just trying to say, if we've got Ahmad, Cunha and Cherki up front, you three need to figure it out, and without Delap. If you can figure it out without him and then he comes off the bench and he does everything that we've seen this season, it's going to be a good look for United. But if it's him day in, day out, playing in the Europa League, or Champions League, playing in the Premier League, playing in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and it's on him to be doing what we want from a number 9, I just feel like the pressure will be too much for the kid.
You know, Mbeumo and Wissa, they've got 19 goals each in the Premier League, man.
Mbeumo and who?
Mbeumo and Wissa.
Yeah, they always do, don't they?
That, bro, man, them. You know how that's not easy, you know. And them,
I heard some of them's got a lot of. I heard one of them's got a lot of penalties, about 5 or 6.
Now, Mbeumo's got a couple of penalties, yeah.
And if you take away the 5 or 6, he's got 13 goals, because them penalties count, you know. We need to start taking penalties away from people.
Let me look at the stat moves. I'm gonna find out how many.
Yeah, it's the penalties. I think that's what I remember. Martial once had a great season, and Bruno had all the penalties. Had Martial had the penalties, he would have been up there with Harry Kane.
Yeah, 100%. I remember that very well, Musa.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of these other players as well that we're seeing some of their numbers.
He scored 65 goals this year, by the way, Brentford, in the Premier League this season.
Yeah.
The amount of smoke we got for defending Martial for what he does. And then all of a sudden we're back to needing someone that can control the ball and make a pass. The irony.
So
I still would have kept Martial.
Martial was just injuries, weren't Martial was just injuries, weren't it? Do you know what I mean? Because whenever he got
injuries, in the end it was injuries, but he was catching a lot of hate before injuries, and he was still playing well. We knew it,
Martial.
and we acknowledge it. Some people are just on his case.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me know in the chat which of them penalties. Five have been penalties.
5. That's what I'm saying. Take that 5
out of
away.
19, bro. 5 out of 19.
Take that 5 away. He's on 14 goals. It's there. It's like that's
still low. So 14 goals. That's still for Brentford. That's still impressive.
No, that's good. But that's what I'm saying.
I'll tell you, we saw. All of them are non-penalty goals.
Yeah, that's serious.
Yeah,
I'll take my hat off to him.
We saw. You know what I'm trying to say?
You have to take it off to him.
You know, so
you know, Weiss is decent because you always have to put him in your fantasy team. Do you know what I mean? Because you always get, you know what I mean? At the start of the season,
that's why I'm saying to you, man.
Remember what I said,
if we sacked here the manager, that's why we'd go and get the my guy Thomas Frank, because he's proven he's improved players.
This is what I was talking about the other day. No, but this is what I said about the other day, though, Saeed. No, I'm with you. I'm with you to a point, though, Saeed, because the problem's this. When I said this to you the other day, there are managers who have systems that make players look good, and then there are managers who players make their systems look good. Amrin needs players to make his system look good. And Eric Ten Hag is the same thing.
I agree with that.
There are managers like Frank, like LVG, who come in, get a couple youth players from over there.
Players look good.
Yeah, and they'll make players look good. And Arsene Wenger done that a lot as well early on in his career at Arsenal. And players will get sold, go elsewhere, and you think, right, this is not the same player that was playing at Arsenal. And I just feel like there are managers out there who, again, create systems who get the best out of the attributes the players have. They're not playing on their weaknesses. They know I've got a player who cannot hold the ball up. He has to run in behind, and they play towards that. So when we see that player week in, week out, we think, oh, that player's mint is everything. He goes to somewhere else where the manager doesn't care about preserving the player and what he's good at. He puts him in a totally different type of style. And before you know it, we're judging players like Anthony saying he's not good enough.
Yeah.
He can't do this.
Exactly.
Anthony's the poster boy.
You know what, Musa? The manager's job has always been to get the best out of his players. But recently, it's been the opposite. It's the player's job to get the best out of the manager. Like, it's roles reversed, and that's not how it should be. People are defending Amrin and Ten Hag, saying he hasn't got the players to get the best out of him. That's not how it should be.
It's mad. You know what's mad for you? This idea for you that players that are 28 are old. Look at the chat telling me players that are 28 are old.
Bro, I'm sick and tired of the youth. I can't lie.
Like,
get me adults. Like, we went 5 years without a
These men are saying 28 old, bro. 28 is, bro, Chris Wood, 33, has scored how many goals? Lewandowski still scoring goals, man. Like,
Saeed, we went 5 years without a trophy. We signed Martinez 25, Casemiro and Varane, and then we won 2 back-to-back. And the last time we won a trophy before that, we had Zlatan and Rooney and Carrick in the team. Are we having a laugh?
Yeah. Zlatan, how many goals did Zlatan score that season, by the way?
He's scored 28 total, I think.
Even Cavani, when he came, Cavani was moving mad.
Yeah, we went to a final with him, 100%. You're right.
Cavani's highest.
Cavani was moving mad. It's only
Cavani
because
got like 17 for us.
He got injured a couple of times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we need adults, man. We need adults in this thing, man. We need some senior pros.
19 goals in 59 appearances for Man United.
Senior player in our attack is Rashford. What are we doing here?
Yeah. And exactly. And Zlatan missed a lot of goals, you know.
Yeah, he missed. Because you know what? It's only at United. It's only at United that we believe that strikers should score every chance. And that's because we don't play well as a team. So you can see, like, at other teams, when the striker misses a chance, usually they'll be like, but they'll be laughing, like, bloody hell. You say United, when the striker misses a chance, it's like it's the end of the day, it's the end of life.
It's because we know the next chance isn't coming. That's why I had them. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That was the only chance we're going to have that game.
Exactly. It's done. Maybe 3 games before he gets another chance.
He had a mad catalogue, I can't lie to you. But I told you, if Cavani was allowed to play,
though, man.
Cavani came in the wrong time, man. He came in when it was locked down, and then, bro, and then Ronaldo came and then took his number.
The
and
mentality, see Cavani, the mentality was mad. I love that mentality. That's the type of players that I want, man. That mentality and how he played the game, it's just madness, man.
He looks nice all around. Like he looks like someone fun to have in the dressing room. Like he can't be a bad influence on the team.
No.
His celebration as well, man. It's cold. Do you know what I mean? His celebration. That was
different levels.
I mean, and like I said, bro, I just think for me now in Europe now, like when you look at it, there's these young crop of players, but there's also players that are in their prime and ready, and or just like I said to you, like Embuemo now, Arsenal linked with him, like United need to be all over that, bro. Cherki's one of there's talents where they're young, but then you have to go and get them because they're that good, and there's talents and there's players that are people think they're old, but they can still do a big job at your club. There's two sides of like football. I think for me, there's talents where you're like, yo, go and get him. You see that player right there? He's good. Don't matter about the age. He's good. And there's players that people think, oh, but you know what? He's a bit old. How many years can we get out of him? Brother, we ain't dealing with no 5-year project. We're dealing with the next year. I'm thinking about 25, 26 season. I'm not even thinking about 26, 27, 27, 28. I'm not thinking about that. Every year is just about the next year. There ain't no long-term project with Man United. There isn't. We can't say to ourselves, we're title race by this year. We're not. We need to see that we've had a good season. Be like, you know what? We can reflect on that good season. Be like, you know what? That was an improvement from last season. Just focus on that season and get the best out of the team, get the best out of the players, and smash every goal you've got. We're too busy thinking about, but how long? Just deal with the season, bro. Deal with it.
Yeah, we need to start like being able to know who's a good player from who's a bad one. That's been a problem for years. Like we got it all wrong. We kept the shit ones and we let go of the good ones, and we didn't have that many good players. And I was saying at the time, and people say, no, keep this one, keep this one, keep this one. If you think about it, the reason we're in the situation now is because we didn't sack Ten Hag soon enough. We gave him too much money, and we allowed him to let go of the players he shouldn't have. He got it all the way, all the wrong way around.
Yeah. 100%.
See, the Cherki thing's an issue though, because we're one of the only two. We're the one of few clubs in the Premier League that actually got to see him up close and personal as a club, playing against him in two legs and seeing what he's about, seeing what he done to us, seeing his capabilities. Like, we should have been getting that deal signed. Like, Fergie would have got that signed at half time.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have waited that long. Yeah, that deal would have got signed at half time, and we're out here playing games like we don't need this level of playing. Also, his mentality, man, the way he was leading that team, like leading out. Everything changed when he went off, though. Yeah. They went under pressure. They thought the game was done. They took him off because I saw his leadership qualities on the pitch, how he will calm them down, like slow down, don't go, like take it easy. Like I like him as a player. I like him. I like his ability, and I just feel like every other team is not. And this is what I don't like about United. Most clubs, whether it's Newcastle, Villa, Arsenal, City, Liverpool, none of the fan bases are really worried about what their ownership are going to do in terms of bringing in players.
Facts.
It's just us. Yeah. They know they're going to get it done. Trent's gone. Okay, Frimpong is in. Straight away. They know what they need to do. They're not on this hesitation stuff. We're still here in the worst position out of all of them, and we're not getting deals done that we can get done. Cherki's a deal with a clause that we could have got done now. These men are having their medicals. They're getting medicals.
It's looking at you in the eye, man. Them
you get it done now.
Euros. You can get it done now.
Could have got it done in December. Look at that Quenda deal that Chelsea got over the line.
Chelsea, you know what? Fair play to Chelsea. Yeah, they got it done. Theirs is ready for 2020.
Deals. And they got these two kids coming from South America, both left-footed on right wingers.
Bro, Chelsea
dangerous kids.
Chelsea
dangerous.
Is going to be a problem. I can't lie.
And you see that midfield of Lavia and Caicedo. It is a problem, Saeed.
Yeah, they're young. They're young, but they got even more. They got the next Caicedo, bro. But forget Caicedo. They got they bought another guy from Sporting, bro. Esugu. Apparently, he's the next Caicedo.
Yeah. They bought 2 at the time, I remember. And we're sitting here bypassing our midfield. We're talking about every position back there. What's going on? People are still telling me Bruno's got to start next season in the City. He has to start.
We got
the fan
Amarim
base is fighting.
We need to build around Bruno. And then we have Bruno doing interviews saying Amarim didn't ask me. God give me strength.
Nah, can't lie, bro.
I hear the fan base saying he's got to start.
I forgot about Santos as well. You man watch Santos, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a baller. He's a baller. Can't lie. Santos is there. Them man, I don't know what it is, bro. Them man, they said, you know what, man? We got things locked up and that. You know when your parents and that used to hide the snacks and that, yeah? And then, bro, all of a sudden there's a good day where the family arrive, and then all of a sudden you see your pops with all the snacks. Yeah, yeah, man. I bought it for a rainy day. You know when it's a rainy day, I got it out, and then all of a sudden you have the shah and the tea. Chelsea doing, you know, in 2 years' time, they're gonna be like, yo, chill, man. We had our plans saved. We're ready.
See, Chelsea, when I look at them, I do believe there's going to be a Chelsea era. I don't know when it is, but I've seen their players, and I do believe when things click. Yeah, like if we had the Chelsea squad and we had the type of players they had in and around the club, I would be excited for United. I would be excited. You know what I mean? This is why I'm not onto them. Like, things are not going right how they want, but next season, if they get in the Champions League, you're going to see more and more about them. And I think also the way the new Champions League system is, depending on the teams that you get, like you see PSG, they struggled to get out of the group. They struggled. They went and made a signing, and now they're in the finals. So I think the new formation as well will favour even people like United. Don't be surprised if it doesn't favour us. But I still think, what's our midfield? Like, I'm not hearing too much about it. I'm hearing Edison.
A big worry is that we're not linked with no midfielders, man.
That's the biggest worry of the moment.
Bro, midfield is where the game's won and lost. That's
what I hear the chat about goalkeepers, but I think midfield is more urgent.
Big time.
Why?
Big time.
Because you know what's happening with Onana at the moment. Look, he's making a mistake after mistake. I can't defend him. But it's turning basically to what it happened with Anthony. Like, it was Anthony. He's the worst player. And all of a sudden, it's Onana. Fine. But we are still not playing well. And that's not because of Onana. That's not because of Onana.
Did you watch Wharton last night, by the way? Yesterday?
No, I couldn't, but I like him.
You watch Wharton anytime, do you know what I mean? He's a monster.
But he's a baller. Are we first in the pecking order?
No, but Saeed, why are we always stuck on stupid? This is what I call stuck on stupid. There's bare Whartons around the world. You just go and see Brighton go and get one in, and they're not going to get charged £70 million. We're stuck on stupid.
From Lille.
Yeah, we're stuck. Like, what is our recruitment doing? Go and get your 20 million out and go and get us someone that will do the same job. What are we doing?
They got a Hassan Ayari. Where did they get this Hassan Ayari from, by the way? This Swedish international. Where did they buy Hassan Ayari? Because this guy's a baller, man. Hassan Ayari. Yassin Ayari.
I'm tired of United, man. I'm tired of United having to just...
Yassin Ayari. Where did they buy him from, Yassin Ayari, man? He's 21 years old, yeah. He's a baller, man. So I want to know where they recruit him from, bro. Let me just quickly look right now. So
they go for these players, and then we go for the Garnachos. It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, man.
They got him from Sweden. IIK, is it IIK?
We got the only bad Argentinian winger out there. Do you know how embarrassing it is from our perspective?
He came from Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
But they let him go, didn't they?
Atletico want him back, to be honest. They'll take him back.
Yeah,
we bought him. We pay for him.
I'm not saying he's amazing, but bro, they got a recruitment for us, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, like, yeah. Sekou Kone, is there a plan for Sekou Kone?
No.
You know what I mean? Man, like, bro, like, man, I just like, you know, saying, yeah, it's not, you know.
It's the whole setting, man. It's the whole formation. I told you a 4-3-3. I told you a three-man midfield of Ugarte holding with like someone like Kobe and Casemiro in front of him does better than what we're seeing now. I just keep on saying that the way that he's set up, it doesn't benefit any of the players that we have now. Even if you tell me that we have to have, I don't know, Ugarte holding because that's all he's good at, with Bruno and Cass in front of him, it's still better than what I'm seeing now. I just feel like with the type of players that we have and how we want to go forward, if this guy goes, we're not getting another manager that plays like this. We need to be very aware of the type of players that we're getting in, and the way they're going to be able to play moving forward with United. Because if we start bad, no matter who this guy's brought in, Amrin's gone. He's under pressure. If we lose on Wednesday, it's going to go 10x. Like, everyone's here comfortable. We were saying...
But then the club, then all of a sudden I've got to find another manager, and waste their time finding another manager when really and truly we shouldn't be looking for another manager. Let's be all honest.
Like, no, but the manager shouldn't be important, side. You know why I say the manager shouldn't be important? If a club,
can't do two things at once.
You know what it is, though? If you look at, example, your local Tesco, they most probably sacked their managers loads of times. You don't feel it when you go in there. They have a system. If United have a clear system of what they're trying to do, you wouldn't feel it. Like, if you see the Madrids and the Barcas, they recruit for a certain style of football that they want to play, and they get managers that can manage that team of players that they already know are good enough. They're not asking you, is this good enough? Yeah. They're not asking you, it's similar to Palace with the manager they got in. They know the level of player that they recruited. They know the level of player that they got in there. They're not asking this manager, are our players good enough? We know. We've invested in them. We've scouted them. We've watched them over a long period of time. We want you to come and get the best out of them and make sure that they can play and compete at a certain level. Yeah. All of this, like you said, the manager comes in and we have to start thinking, can we get players that help the manager? The manager's here to help the players. But the United have to be clear that the players they've invested in, they truly believe in them. They know that Kobe is an excellent footballer. It's not a doubt.
Imagine Glasner with Kobe. Imagine Glasner with Kobe. I think we see a better Kobe.
Of course we do.
You know what I mean? But actually, it's true though, man. Because
I saw Kobe in the Euros. I saw Kobe last season, and everything that everyone says that he can't do, he's already done it. He can't get up and down. The brother was getting up and down and getting on the end of balls, even though he was playing deep. He can't do this. He can't control the midfield. I saw him games where he controlled it and bossed it, shrugging people off the ball. Yeah. You know, doing feints, like confident. Like, you see, when you're confident as well, it's a different. Like, this Anthony was a shell of himself. I see the ball come over for him at Sociedad. Someone pinged it over from the left back, and he volleyed it first time. I said, this kid was not doing it at United. Like, the confidence. That's not about a league, blah, blah. That's just about a player being confident and knowing that if I hit the ball, it's going in, and having that level of confidence. And I just feel like, obviously, a lot of our players don't have that level of confidence, but they don't turn, like, even how the fan base are doubting the ability of Kobe Mainoo, and should we move him on? Is he going to be good enough for the system? I don't see someone like, you go into Barca and they got their young guys Pedri in the middle of the park. He's not doing well for a certain manager, and then they're saying, should we move him on? But what are we talking about?
Yeah, you know, when I'm not gonna lie to you, man, it's nonsensical when you do that. You know, like it should be, like, again, like I said to you, when you know the player is good as well. We're not saying for every player you do that, but when you know the player is a good player, you start doubting him because all of a sudden he's not playing well in the system. Like, I'm sorry, man, that for me cannot work like that. I'm sorry, you can't.
Something's wrong.
You know, the only players that always play at the same level or just about are the shit ones.
Yeah,
true.
If you need it. So that's like the people that suffer the most from having bad players around them are the good players. So that's why at the moment when people are praising like Bruno, I'm saying, you put Bruno next to good players and he'll go down in level. And
even Maguire, the Maguire praise is mad.
100%.
Madness.
100%. And if you put good players around good players, everyone goes up.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah. Listen, for me, the recruitment this summer has got to be players that could just play well. Like, I feel like
footballers.
If you get overgassed by systems and just go and get me good players, that regardless of a system, regardless of coaching, them man know how to play good football. They're good players. Like, don't get me wrong here. Like, Barcelona have got a system there with Hansi Flick, but bro, also they have good players.
Yes,
like, it's just good.
Exactly.
You know what I mean, bro? Like, they're good
players will figure it out and win you more games than not. And that's what I'm not saying. Ancelotti is not whatever. He's a great manager, but over a period of time, these good players, they figure it out. They get the job done. They more often than not, But when you have a group of bad players who are not actually good at all or not good on the ball, they will always get stuck. And this is why I say if you throw a set of good players together and give them a good, set of instructions, and you're a good manager, they're not finishing 16th, my brother. They're not finishing 16th.
No, they're not. They're not. Big up ADS says, do you think the transfer list changes if we sack Amarin? Is the current transfer list formation?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. And that's my whole thing.
I don't think they got a list, bro. I don't know what list it is. Right now, bro, I don't know what list it is. I don't know what list they've got right now. I mean, road you. I don't know what list.
It's nice though is that the leaks or the rumors are not as bad as they were. We have less of an idea of what's going on, which is a good thing.
Yeah, which is a good thing. Yeah.
Unless they are not doing anything.
Yeah, I think if they are specific to a system, that's a worry because then bloody hell, we sack Amarin in September or wherever it is, October, because he hasn't done well. Then you're screwed because then you've got about 20 defenders. Do you know what I mean? And barely any attackers. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to remember, like, I feel like for me, we have to just buy players that, like I said to you, like are good players, but also can adapt to different formations, different systems and whatnot. Like they're very intelligent to know, right, cool. That manager's gone now. We need to start playing football, guys. We need to start adjusting. You know what I mean? Because this other manager might come in and say, yo, I'm gonna give you a set of tactics here, but you lot have to play well. You lot have to say, right, I've shown you the basic principles now. Now I need to see you lot. When you get to the halfway line, you go and do what you want to do. Because you got to remember, Doku and Savio, I'm sorry, these guys have been flops for Man City this season as well. And Guardiola is one of the best managers in world football. Do you think he's saying to Savio and Doku, do what you got to do in that final third? No, there's not. You know what I'm saying to you, bro? So you need good players to do the job in the end of the day. Like, you need them. I'm not having this, but you got to get this player here and this player. Like, bro, like, man just needs to see that, yo, if I know the manager's not doing well, I've got players I can just say, you know what? Is what it is. I'm going to get you out of this rock.
Sorry, they're not doing well is if we done that this season, United would have had a great season. Where's City now in the league?
City in the league, bloody hell.
5th or 6th.
I think, 5th or 6th, I think.
They're all on the same points, though. So what's the highest?
Yeah, they're all on the same points, apart from
Arsenal. What's the highest?
Second.
So what's the highest of that with that number of points?
66.
What's the highest finish? 56. And who's third?
The highest points you can get this season for them three is 69.
No, but who's third? Is it the person with third? How many points they got?
They got 66.
And City's got 66.
Yeah, City got 65.
65. So they're thereabouts. So they're there fighting for a top 4 position, and it was just in an FA Cup final. So their bad season is everyone else's good season. That's us saying, oh yeah, we've had a good season. We're in the final, and we're there or thereabouts in top 4. So when I look at City and I look at I look at the age group of the players that they've had, and I look at they're making this overhaul. Some of their best players, leaving, and some of them getting older and stuff like that. City, all right. If Man United take a season off after winning everything for the last 5 years, and we're sitting 3rd or 4th in the league and just went to the FA Cup final, it's like, come on, everyone's allowed to have a break. Their break ain't the worst. You know what I mean? It's not the worst.
Like, we are criticizing City because they win everything every year.
That's
like
it.
We have standards for them that we don't have for us. People are saying we are exactly where we should be in the league, and City are having a bad season. Well, come on now.
No. I even want to look at the attributes of their players. They're fighters, man. Savio might not be having, but his attributes, he chases every ball down. I've seen when he's on form, when he's confident, he finishes. His touch is crazy. Even if we had him as like a right wing back, I think he would do good for us in terms of the attributes that he have. We're looking for a player like that. He's a bit more like direct than Anthony was, which I like about him. He's a bit more faster as well. But he's an excellent footballer, man. And I think we would do well to add someone like that onto our roster. So I don't know, man. I just look at United and I just think to myself, I'm not confident about the type of player that we're going to get in, and because I'm not confident of the midfield. And then I look to next season and I just feel like, where are we going? Do you know what I mean? We're not even talking about even the clear out. What's the clear out if it doesn't include Mason Mount and all of these guys? What is that clear out? What is it?
Bro, it's dark times, bro. I can't lie to you, man. Like, I fear that, you know, I don't want to become a club where we're not in for the talented players anymore, man. You know what I mean?
But where's soft side? Everyone wants to start. I'm seeing like just a couple good games in Europa, yeah. Because you have to understand. You see, when everyone's been having the Maguire hype and different type of players, you got to understand that's not off the back of the Premier League games because we've been crap. So just a couple good games in the Europa League, and all of a sudden we should keep him next season. This is why we deserve everything we get.
100%.
I agree.
Mason Mount had one good game, and how many flipping games he's had for us? And all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, maybe, yeah. No. He has to go. Get what you can and just start again. Rip it up and just start again. I'm worried for us, man. And if we lose on Wednesday, it's going to 10x. I've told guys what I think about Amri. But if we lose on Wednesday, everyone that's just sitting on the fence hyping, you're going to see their real faces.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Well, if we lose on Wednesday, oh my life. You know how bad you've got to be to allow Spurs to win a cup?
I know.
That's scandalous.
Scandalous, bro, man. It's you know what? And then obviously the future, because then now the Glazers and Ineos have almost like an excuse not to spend money. You know,
my man's leaving Spurs. He doesn't care. He'll leave with his trophy.
Yeah, he'll leave with his trophy. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I'm leaving and I'll get you sacked. It's shocking behavior. He's leaving either way. It's shocking. I'm telling you. That behavior is like, I'm going to win the trophy, get you sacked, mess up United, and just keep it moving.
I'm leaving and I'm getting you sacked.
Yeah, I'm getting you.
You know what it is, though? They sorry, Ash, you go ahead. Go ahead. We're going to say something.
No.
Yeah, I just think for me, yeah, like, I look at it. Ineos have been going to these games, you know, these games lately, and they don't. I'm not saying they don't look impressed because they just look a bit glum anyway. But bro, like from what Ratcliffe said in his interview, they won't make mistakes again like that. You know what I'm saying to you? Like he in his head has to think, yo, like, do I make the same mistake? Do I think he's the guy? If you have that belief, then you have to make that decision early, and then start early with transfers and say, yo, we're backing you, we're buying the players in early, and then you do it. But if you dilly-dally around and we're hearing there's briefs out that there's a feeling that, you know what, they don't really back the manager and he's got the start of next season to prove himself. I don't want to be hearing all of that. I don't want to be hearing that. I need to be hearing that you either back him or you sack him. Simple. One or the other, because for me, we can't be having this dilly-dally around, bro, because it will affect everyone. And I'm not here to waste another season, bro. Man, I'm not here. This season has been a waste. I don't care. This Europa League is here, but it still feels like a waste of a season because it's a joke, this amount of losses, bro. It's a joke, bro. And we win this Europa League, it will not, for me, I won't remember this season. I'm sorry. Like, you lot can say we won the Europa League. That, for me, it's like, it's a platform to get in the Champions League. You know, and yeah, cool, we might enjoy that night and whatever, but after that, mate, it's you go into that Champions League and you act serious. You act serious because I'm seeing clubs starting early.
Yeah, because you
think it's only us, you know, that have got problems, you know. Arsenal haven't won a league now for how long? In 3 years is a title race. No leagues. Liverpool didn't even spend anything, yeah? And they won the league. Do you think they're going to make that same mistake? You got who else is there? Chelsea, you know, Man City.
Pep just got his missus back. Bro, everyone knows what happened. His missus went, everything fell apart. Now she's back.
You know what that means?
I'm telling you, it's problems, man.
People just think it's us that are only struggling, like for what we need, bro. Like every man, it's dog eat dog out there. Like right now, everyone needs a striker, everyone needs a midfielder, and there's the pool of talent now in football. Is at its lowest. There ain't no like 10 world-class midfielders that you can go and get.
Bro, I don't care what anyone says. I look at Man City, yeah, and I look at their bad season. They've been bad this season, yeah, and I look at how many points they've still been able to accumulate. There's no way these men are not involved next season. These men are involved in this race. See, when they switch on, it's a problem.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I fully agree.
Involved. Because they've had a bad season, and they still there or thereabouts, like, you know, in the Champions League, in the FA Cup, in the league itself. It's like, You know, they still had a chance to finish second this season. Like, what the heck? When I was watching that the other day, I said, how these guys still got a chance to finish second in the league?
Yeah,
how did that happen?
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, Brema to Arsenal. Listen, if they go, I don't think he'll go there because I feel like he's got that position. Saka's got that position locked.
Saka's, yeah.
I don't know. They need help though, man. They need help though, man. They need help. They need help.
Yeah,
they need help because when that Saka goes off, the drop off is too much. Their captain ain't helping them. Yeah, their captain ain't helping. When Saka goes missing, it's like Arsenal's a whole different team. They need someone else if they really want to be serious. Because you look at City, they've always had two people on each flank that can turn up and deserve to start. So if they're really serious about what they in terms of winning this league, they need to go and get a Saka replacement.
I don't think he plays second fiddle though. You're right.
Yeah,
no
context.
I don't think he's the kind of guy to say, "Yo."
You see, we are too lost in like buying a player and wanting him to start. Yeah. If you want to win the big trophies, you need to have quality on the bench.
Yeah,
and he's to be better than Saka. I'm not saying he is, but let's suppose he plays better for them and they sign him. They will pick way more ahead, and they will be very happy to have Saka on the bench.
Arsenal don't spend that kind of money though for those kind of players to put them on the bench. They just don't do that. They've not been that kind of club. You know, you see when they buy players.
No, but then again, you never sign players for the bench. You sign players for the team.
But Arsenal's got a good 11.
Yeah, but then he's not getting a Saka, is it?
Now the thing about Arsenal, they got a good 11. Their next move now is to add to it. They have to add to it and add real quality.
They just need a striker. They just need a competent striker. That's all they need. Arsenal. They don't have a striker this season.
But when Saka goes missing, they just go. It's a total different team. Like they can't be that reliant on this kid, man.
I'd say even on the left hand side instead of Martinelli. Do you know what I mean? You know, like
yo, we ain't getting Rodrigo, bro. Relax, man.
No, I was going to say.
But Rodrigo's about though, man. You get me? Sad though, we're not involved in these kind of conversations anymore, man. You get me? Like I remember one time it was Gareth Bale, you know what I mean, and all these players. United were linked with bad boys, man. Schneider and all these guys. And now
what do you mean, like Di Maria and Schweinsteiger and those? I mean, come on, we've been there. We have been there.
No, but the thing is, though, Di Maria should have worked for United. It was because of the robbery, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. It was because of the robbery.
Di Maria left United
his wife
with the
paid someone
to...
Go on, tell me, sir.
What's that?
No, I was saying that his wife paid someone for the robbery. Do you know what I mean? She the moment she moved to Manchester, she weren't having it. Do you know what I mean?
She weren't having it. Yeah, because I remember I looked at the season he left us, and I think he was only behind Ozil in assist. And it's like people forgot what he did contribute. He was, and our team weren't the best team, but I think Di Maria he went on to continue to have great seasons. In where was he? He went PSG and that. I think we kind of let him go a bit too early, man.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just not signing the right profile of players.
We get good players. They come in and we think, oh yeah, you know, they didn't do it here. Nah, man, United is not the standard. We haven't been the standard for many a year. So long.
Standard, man, I'm telling you.
We're not the standard if a player's good or not. We're not, man. I feel like, yeah, man, coming to Man United now, if you really want to do something with your career, I don't think this is the place to come, man. To be honest, like you said, Gyökeres, now the more we talk about it, and I realize how old he is. And you said this could be his last season.
You know the United comfort blanket, but we're Man United. I don't think that hits anymore, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll be real with you, man. Like, you've got to have something to buy into as well. Like, United right now, being in 16th, it's embarrassing, man.
You can risk it when you're young, Saeed, because you think, if it doesn't move, I can get another move. But not at 26, 27. You can't risk it.
Nah, because the next season, what are you doing? You're trying to fight for top 10. Then it's the season after that, top 6. What are you fighting for, bro? You got to the same, bro.
Bruno could have left and went to somewhere like Inter and could be in a Champions League final.
No, that's the thing, Musa. You got it wrong. If he was at Inter, they would not have reached that final.
No, Bruno's all right in Europe, man. He'll do it. I'm telling you. I think, when I see Bruno at international level, I just feel like whenever you give this player this like, you're the man. You can do whatever you want. Like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did. Do what you want, Bruno. The field is yours, son. When you give a player that type of direction, you're asking for trouble because he goes to Portugal and there's big boys around him and he's just having to do a job. And they do well in competitions.
If Inter had him starting every game like they do with Mkhitaryan, they would not have reached that level. I'm not a betting man and I don't bet. But if I had to put money, I would put strong money.
Yeah,
him and Mkhitaryan bring them down, yeah. But Inter's done well with some old United players, man. Them Darmian and Mkhitaryan, them man are there or thereabouts, boy.
100%.
I mean, Mkhitaryan now would be a lovely one, man. You know what I mean? Lovely side right now if he was 27, 28. The problem is that we had the wrong manager coaching Mkhitaryan, man. That was a problem, man. Mourinho killed him, bro. Put him out on the wing.
Woodward tried, man. Woodward tried, you know. Woodward made some signings, you know. He tried, you know.
Woodward, man. Woodward, bloody hell. It's crazy, man. Like, I don't know. I think for me, that's why for me, when I said Thomas Frank, Ash, and you were saying, oh, but what? We've just got to go get a manager that can get the best out of what's being given to him, bro. And it sounds mad that I hear it, because then that means the club aren't doing their job. But, bro, at the same time, it's going to be collateral damage for everyone, bro. Like, everyone then is like part of the issue. And, you know, listen, it's going to be tough because right now we're not the first pecking order. It's like the draft, the NBA draft. You'll know more than me, you know, Adam, man. But we're in the lower the list on the NBA, you know.
We're
like the low.
Well, you know what? Well, the thing is, when you finish low in those leagues, you get a good draft. And that was the opposite.
Yeah, it's the opposite. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think for me, like,
we might need Premiership. I think we might need a manager who knows the pressures of the Premier League to just come in at United. I'm not against it. The last person we had was Jose. You know, he done his best. He told us about that second finish was the best in his career, and we laughed at it. But we look back and we see that United is not in the best shape in terms of what he had to deal with the Glazers and Edward and everyone like that. I feel like getting a manager in who understands the Prem is just as good as saying that we need players who understand the Prem. I feel like going and getting a manager in from Portugal like we've done might not be the best thing to go and do again. We're like, where are we going to go? Where are we looking? We're going to the French league. We're going to the Spanish league. We're going to where are we going to go to look for a manager? Is it at the Is it outside? Because I think the Fulham manager's done a great job. I think he's done a great job.
He won today.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job. Not with the best set of players either. I think he's got a good number.
Shout to Nedu in the chat. That's his guy.
Yeah. He's got a good
one of the only Premier League wins that Amrim has is against Fulham. But then when we played against them in the cup, the one that mattered, they won. Yeah. So he got
they won.
We always find a way to win the meaningless one.
Yeah, don't worry for me, for managers like that, is they've got no European experience. And when you don't have European experience, it's a big thing because they don't know how to set up the team, the training for the midweeks. Do you know what I mean? They don't understand it. They don't get it. It's a massive learning curve for them, and especially at a big club like United. Do you know what I mean? Where it's going to be tough. Someone like a Thomas Frank, he doesn't know. That's why I prefer a Glasner, even because he's been there. He's won a Europa League. He knows what the midweek. He knows how to set his teams up to manage the load for those midweek games. Thomas Frank's never touched that. Do you know what I mean? So he has no idea. He's completely fresh.
I agree with you, but he's also never had a squad and a checkbook that you get United to kind of compensate for that. I think that's what
can go wrong as well. Musa, do you know what I mean? That can go wrong. Do you know what I mean? He can overspend. He can mismanage his squad. There's just too many risks there for me with Thomas Frank. I don't think we're in a position where we can take those kind of risks with him. I feel like if you are going to go for someone Premier League and you know you move towards a Glasner, you know that's there. Or
then we stick with the system as well. But
I don't mind. I don't mind any.
You know why we're in trouble, Musa, man? Yeah, is that everyone's getting a taste for Europe now. You know, managers might not want to jump ship. You know, look at everyone now in Europe chilling. Glasgow, bro, man are coming to Croydon. You know, like teams are going to be coming that are European established clubs here, chilling in Southeast London, bro.
Yeah,
you know how mad that is. That feeling. Then he's going to be like, yo. I hear Man United, but we've just shown that we could do this. And money might not be the all MB now. Amrin might be the proof of, you know what? Do I really want to hurt my career right now? When I've shown that, look at Brentford this year. I don't know if they've got top 8, but look at the teams I'm showing you now, In the last 2 seasons, look where they finished in the leagues, And this is proof of, it's possible now, for these teams to catch Man United and Tottenham.
You know, though, Saeed, if Man United win the Europa League, we would have won. I think we would have won a cup every year, every year for the last 5 years. That will tell any manager that thinks he's good enough that this is if I go to United, I've got a big chance of lifting silverware, and I think I'm the manager to turn their fortunes around. And this is why I say that I look at the managers like Xavi and that, and I think they still believe with their insight to football that they can be the man. I think that's the pull to United. Every manager thinks if I can get United firing and competing, I can go down as a legend. Because the fan base is waiting for that man. We're waiting for that one manager that comes in and then that savior. And we will back him. Guys, we've suffered. Yeah. If a man comes in now and he changes like our fortunes round, we're gonna back him. 100%. And he's really gonna get the backing of the fan base. So I feel like top managers, top ex-players who are in the game now, who are coaching at a good level, they think they can do it.
Look where these guys were in 21, 22. All of these clubs, look at Aston Villa, Brentford, Crystal Palace, all of these clubs, we're all struggling. The traditional top six was set, and then boom, all of a sudden now, in the league right now, in the season we're in right now, look at that. It changed. The landscape changing, guys.
But you know what, though? I would say that with the new ownership of Newcastle, it's like, as much as we're saying it's like an underdog move and blah blah blah, but them winning now is expected. We look at their 11, we look at the squad that they got, we look at their ambitions with the ownership. They need to. This is just the beginning for them in terms of trying to break into that and be up thereabouts. So the only one we look at is then we look at the final in terms of who was in the final. We played Palace in the final and beat them. What year was that when we beat Palace in the final for the FA Cup?
2016.
So they've been there before, and they could have beat us. I remember that game. It was a tight one. We ended up winning 2-1. I feel like them beating City, like Palace could have easily lost, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. You know what I'm trying to say? So I don't think that these teams are going to stick at upsetting the setup of the league. I feel like the people up there now, they've got money. Aston Villa's got money and they're being run well right now. Yeah. So it's not a coincidence that they're up there. You know what I'm saying? Then you're looking at Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, City. These are there or there. I think the league, I just feel like it's become a big top six now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than the top four that we used to be. It's a big top six. And I think it's a top 8, but there's only 6 positions people are fighting for right now.
Bro, listen, I think now next season there's going to be like 8 or 9 teams that are going to be in Europe now. United off top.
United's the top 8. This is what I say. If you look at the Premier, it's really soon. It's going to be 2. There's going to be 2 leagues, mate. There's going to be a top 10.
Will be, where the league will be split into 2.
Yeah, you'll see it. The teams will go clear because those teams at the top are getting more and more money there. And this is what I said about teams like Brighton. For all the good football they play and everyone gets excited.
Yeah.
The highest they've ever finished was like 7th or something. And in the last 4 or 5 years, they always sit around 10th, 11th, 12th. It's like, it's all good football and that, but they're nowhere in the league. And when people are laughing at United, we're still there or thereabouts. The only time we got that 8th position was last year with Erik ten Hag. And I told you, as bad as Erik ten Hag is, he's not finishing outside the top 8 this season.
But Erik ten Hag might come out in the interview and do what Mourinho did, say, finishing 3rd was the best thing that I've achieved in my career. You know what I mean? Because of how tough it was. He might do a Mourinho,
He went to 2 finals side that season. He went to 2 finals, and finished 3rd. He could have won the FA Cup, but we lost
principles, though. He didn't play his principles, though. He didn't play the way he wanted to play. And then he got found out in his 3rd year when he really...
If he would have done the double, Saeed, and finished 3rd, like, what would we be saying about that guy? As much as we're all onto him, and I'm onto Ten Hag, but he had the opportunity to actually do that. Then the next season, he's gone back again to the final, won it, and then obviously we know he's moving mad, and we've had to sack him.
What's the common denominator, though? Premier League is what? Bread and butter, man. That's the issue. The Premier League is your bread and butter, and he had no tactical nous for me, and he just basically showed us up in all the big... Like, his record against the top 9 away from home, his inability to create a team that recognized as a you know what I mean? Like, bro, like we were leaking in goals, we were getting demolished.
We had a lot of injuries, we forgot about, you know what? Erik ten Hag, like, he wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy for me. He wasn't the guy, but the club continued to do stuff that also doesn't make sense.
And his signings didn't help him, bro. His
signings didn't help him, and the club signed them off. And they didn't back him as well with certain players when we had injuries. Remember that time we needed to get players in and we went and got Venkors and someone else on loan. That Tottenham kid that played
that January, to be fair.
Regulon.
Region.
Yeah.
That's when we wanted to break into and not finish 8th. We needed signings that season because we had a lot of injuries for him not to end up finishing 8th, and we didn't make the signings we needed. That's because obviously after a while we didn't also trust the players they were bringing in. But I remember that January transfer window. If they would have backed him, we would have finished better and it would have been a better finish for us. But I don't know.
Yeah, Sabitzer as well.
Sabitzer was all right, to be fair.
Yeah.
If we had Sabitzer and Amrabat, they are not world beaters, we'd be doing much better this season.
Yeah. Well, Sabitzer and Amrabat in that midfield too would be better than what we've got right now.
100% it would. 100%.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. You know what it is?
What happened to Ugarte?
I feel like for me, like the points we're getting next season, it does like it's not pretty really, you know, like for you to jump now, Ash, from the points you've got now in the last 2 seasons to next season, like, bro, like we don't know how to even get points on the board, bro. Like
we lose every game.
I can't just say next season, yo, we're gonna be on it. 3 points. That man don't know consistency, you know. You know, in the league. I'm talking about forget the manager, the players don't know what consistency is.
Yeah, you said a little bit earlier this season has been a waste. I don't think this season has been a waste. I think this season's been great for learning like this. These players aren't good enough. Do you know what I mean? They're not close. This will be the season. I'm hoping we look back on this season that's just gone as a season where we've started afresh. Do you know what I mean? We got rid of 6 or 7, 8 and 9 even players. Do you know what I mean? And it was the turnaround that was needed. You know, you get a decent goalkeeper, you get a decent striker. How many times have we seen over the last couple of years? You was talking a bit, I'm all over the place here, but you was talking a little bit earlier about Newcastle, Forest, Leicester, Villa, wherever, you know, being in different positions and that. How long did it take Villa to get up the league and get into the place? It took them 18 months, 2 years max. It took Nottingham Forest 18 months, again, 2 years. You know, we're only so far away from it. So it's a case of, you know, we get a decent enough striker, we get these players. Now the worry is the manager good enough? And that's the big question, because we can improve with a few decent signings. Do you know what I mean? The technical level of football today, it isn't a case of like players are way better than everyone else. You look at the Liverpool team, and there's no like outstanding footballers in that team other than Salah, obviously. Do you know what I mean? And you look at Van Dijk, and you know he's going to be on the downward trend. And the rest of that team, it's not like those aren't players aren't unobtainable. You can't get to that. You're saying that get to that position. So you look at the Arsenal team, you look at the Man City team, we're talking about signing superstar player names. Man City have never really signed superstar player names other than, say, Haaland. Do you know what I mean? They've signed nobody's. They've just spent 150 million on 2 kids that they've put on the bench. No one, you know, they're not even looking at in the squad right now. Do you know what I mean? So it's a case of we bring in a few decent players who are known, they're proven. You get a Cherki, you get a Mbeumo or a Semenyo or a Cunha, and, you know, you had a Delap. You know, you had a couple of decent players around there that all of a sudden start scoring goals. You get a decent goalkeeper, you add a midfielder, you add an Edison, and all of a sudden things can start to turn and start to change, and it can start looking much, much better, and we start moving up the table. And you know what? With a few of those signings, I believe we'd leapfrog up the table. Do you know what I mean? Because you look this season, you know, in games against Liverpool, against Man City, against Arsenal.
I get what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? We've not been smashed. Those aren't games where we've been smashed.
But my is the little teams. Are we bully boys? Can we bully little teams?
You know what's mad though? When we leapfrog, our leapfrog is into 7th. That's where we're going to leapfrog into. It's not going to be into...
Yeah, 7th. Yeah, that's what I said.
That's where we need to be. 7th next year.
No,
and
but
then the year after, 3rd, 4th.
We sacked the manager for that. We sacked a manager for that, and we backed him with a load of players.
Under Ten Hag, we were conceding more shots than the bottom 3 teams. Do you know what I mean? Like, at least with Amorim, we're not conceding those kind of shots.
Yeah,
we were getting peppered
week in week. 7 players back there.
Yeah, but we're getting peppered week in, week out. We weren't creating any chances. There was nothing created.
Listen,
that man had spent 600 million of the money that he wanted to spend, and he got us to where we were. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were getting smashed by Liverpool 7-0. We're getting smashed by your Brightons and your Brentfords, and we were getting routinely beat by these teams like 4 and 5.
No, but my thing is, look, I'm with you, but we didn't get rid of him just to finish 7th. That's the problem. We didn't get rid of him for that.
No. Obviously, the board expected to do better. Do you know what I mean? But you know, there's a lot to that. You look
and
at
even
the
us as a fan base with Amarin, we all thought that we've got rid of Erik ten Hag. Let's climb from 8th. Let's go up. Now we've gone so far back down. Getting back to 8th feels like a win. But that's what you found.
You say 7th last season, though. Last season, McTominay was scamming wins for most of them. We should have been 12th, 13th last season. We should have been 12th, 13th last season.
No, but I argued this point the other day that this concept of scamming wins in the Premier League doesn't really exist. Because if it did, everybody would do it.
Look at that Brentford game where we scored 2 in the last 90
but I'm
minutes.
with you. But that's not it's not a coincidence. Like I said, it happened too many times last season for us to be like we're scamming wins. Like these are the attributes of the players. McTominay arrives late into a box and gets goals. That's what he does. He's continued to do that when he's been bought at Napoli. I just feel like the players that Erik ten Hag liked played a certain type of way, and they got us into that type of position. Because again, if it was that easy, Amarin would be trying to scam wins, but he can't.
Now you know what it was, though, Musa. Now you know what it was. What it was teams still respected us back then. Teams were still hanging off us, still thinking, you know what, United are still United. They can still do something. Then last year they realised this United team, this team can be got at. Teams come to us now and they play us off the park. Do you know what I mean? They play at us. Do you know what I mean? And that's something that started under Ten Hag. He was a manager that allowed players to come and allowed teams to have 26, 27 shots against us. Like average 26 shots against us. He made it comfortable.
He played
for
very
teams.
open, but we had a couple injuries. Remember, we did. It
wasn't open. It wasn't open. No, that's the thing, though, Moose. It wasn't. We played defensive football. You know, we had players back. Do you know what I mean? And then we still couldn't defend. We were still poor. And then we didn't create anything in the final third. I'm not saying Amarim's the man. I've got all big doubts in the guy, but I feel like going forward, you know, at least we can be signing the right players. You look at the players that we signed under Ten Hag.
What I fear is that the likelihood that we get another manager that plays the system that Amarin does is, I don't think it's very high at all. I feel like the likelihood that we get a manager in that plays totally different is very likely. So we have to think like that this summer now. We can't afford to do a Ten Hag again. We can't afford to just be going to get a certain type of player thinking this is the type of system and this is the type of thing that we're going to ask. Like we mentioned, Cunha for a new manager ends up being our new number 9. Do you know what I'm saying? He ends up being the furthest forward, and then like someone like Cherki ends up being in the 10. Do you know what I mean? And then you have those players on the wing, and he ends up being our new Bruno, whatever the weather is. And we need to understand how we're going to play the game or what we want to do. But another thing is that and I agree as well that in 18 months a lot can change. But I look at the other teams around us, and I look more so than anything how well they're being run. I look at how well Aston Villa's being run. I look at how well Man City's run, how well Liverpool's run, how well Arsenal's run, and I don't see them allowing themselves to drop off to a point where even Nottingham Forest,
special case.
we're
but you look at Villa. You look at Villa a couple of years ago in relegation. They were losing the club. Do you know what I mean? They were in a real dire straits with that club. Do you know what I mean? 60 million in debt in the Championship and all that. All of a sudden they get new owners. Things start to turn around. And even those owners made the wrong pick with Gerrard, appointing Steven Gerrard, and they struggled and almost got relegated.
But if you see the decisions they've made, I don't trust it. We have the worst run or the worst management in the top 6.
We don't know that yet, though. Really, we've only had 12 months for them.
Do you know what I mean?
Omar Barado's been in since the summer, and he's made his first decision.
We've seen it. These guys are making
a little
decisions.
bit
Musa can't hear you.
The sacking that they made, then you can't hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Have I gone out?
You're here.
Yeah, I said the sackings that they've made, the fact they didn't get rid of Erik ten Hag, the fact that they went and got rid of my man Dan Ashworth that they got in, the fact that they appointed Amarin halfway through the season and was not prepared to back him in January, there are bare red flags. You don't just go and get a manager in who has a group of players who have never played or don't play the way that he wants to play. A manager who will come and tell you straight away, I don't have the attributes that I need within the squad to play how I want to play. And I'm not a manager who can just turn players into that. I need these players who are already able to do that to come in and play like that for me. And then to go and get rid of 3 attackers. They've got rid of Rashford, Anthony, and Sancho. And it's like, who did you give my man in the January transfer window? What were they doing? What were they even thinking? So I just feel like the management have created an environment for Amorim, who I don't even think is a bad manager. But you see, when you do so bad, and this is why I always equate it to kind of boxing. It's like someone can go into a boxing match as the favourite, but if he has a bad couple first rounds and he's concussed, he can't make it back up. He's just fighting for his life. He's fighting.
Right.
And I feel like, what the ball done with Amorim to bring him in when they did and not back him in January was criminal. You had City, who didn't even have to go and spend the type of money they did. You had Aston Villa, who went and got money from PSG, who's balling out, and Sensio. Then they went and got Rashford. They went and got the other guy as well from Bruce.
Right decisions, isn't it? Yeah, right.
Bruce Dortmund. Right. They went and got players in. Who's that guy from Dortmund that was banging in goals for them and then came? He hasn't even played that much, but he hasn't done too bad at Villa. You know what I'm talking about?
Which one's that one?
From Dortmund.
Oh, Donny Marlin. Yeah, Donny Marlin.
Yeah, Donny Marlin. I remember we were linked to Donny Marlin. And then all of a sudden I see him over there. And I just feel like all of these clubs make right decisions. I don't trust Ineos to back Amorim how he should be backed, because they've shown me that already in January. And I just feel like...
Yeah, but you know why though, Musa? You know why we didn't sign anyone in January? Because we've not got our analytical science department sorted yet. Do you know what I mean? They came into the club realising that
that's a red flag.
Exactly, but that's on the previous regime. Do you know what I mean? Because
but look how long Ineos has been in though. Remember this. Remember when we were told, when they kept Erik ten Hag, they were doing this big flipping, whatever they called it. What was that thing that they called it, that they were looking into the club before they got rid of Erik ten Hag?
Yeah,
this massive review. And they were sitting down and they were taking when they were doing that review, where was all that?
Well, you know what, Musa, I agree that he should have been backed more in January, but now with hindsight on how he's done, you could make the case that it's a good thing we didn't back him.
No, but I think he would have done better, because my thing is this. Imagine you come in and you say, I need solid wing backs in my system. Every time Man United have done well under this guy is only when Ahmad has been right on it playing at wing back. At least get this guy 2 wing backs in, just to see what he can do.
With better players.
By the way, the wing back you're talking about here now, Real Madrid are very close to reaching a verbal agreement with Alvaro Correa for a 6-year contract.
That's another case.
But when I told you we should get him over Dorgu, everybody was screaming Dorgu.
We should have got both of them.
No, I told you go and get the kid back. Yeah, I said go and get the kid back.
You did say that.
I said the reason is he's been at United already. He knows the club.
Ten Hag let him go. Exactly. We're talking about
we got a buyback. We got a buyback that was cheaper than Dorgu. Why don't you just go and get him back? He's been at the club.
It goes back to what I said earlier. We can't tell a good player from a shit one.
And that's the problem. Ten Hag lets him go. He's only been gone for 6 months. We loaned him out before. He knows the club. He knows all the staff. He knows everybody at Carrington. Get the kid back. It was a cheaper buyback than Dorgu. Yeah. Let Dorgu stay there till the end of the season. Just get the thing about getting Alvarez back. It wasn't about adding to it. It was just getting a kid back who was at United 6 months ago, and Erik ten Hag let him go. It was as simple as just paying back the buyback clause that we had, bring him back to the club. It's just it would have just been like a small loan, but he was on loan last season anyway.
I tweeted in 2023 that we should never have loaned him out, man. And like when he went to Granada, I think it was something like that.
Yeah,
but he was ready, man. He was ready.
You know what? I don't have a problem with the loan, Saeed. I just have a problem with selling him for good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
At least you bring him back.
Because Dorgu's shown that he's quite good on the right side as a right wing back. He's shown it when he's linked up with Ahmad, because he's a combinations player. I like Dorgu. A lot of people are saying a lot about his finishing and stuff like that, but he's still young. But he's the only guy that I'm seeing the 90th minute still being able to get back and make a tackle. Like, he's got an engine on him and he gets up and down the pitch. And sometimes, even when he wants to play combinations with Garnacho's not interested. As soon as he goes to the right, Yeah, as soon as he goes to the right, he's playing combinations with Ahmad, 1-2s, and they're both getting into the box, causing problems.
In defense of Dogu, man, he never seen anything quite like Garnacho. He can't have.
Madness. It's madness. Garnacho's like, you're seeing him free, and he's not even passing or looking to the kid.
Nah, man, he plays like his neck.
Real Madrid, man. Well, I don't know. Like I said, bro, there's players are gonna be like they're gonna be gone, bro.
Real Madrid have favoured him over the Bournemouth kid.
Yeah, Gyökeres, yeah.
They're saying that Gyökeres is their second option if they can't get this kid.
Yeah.
Imagine that. And we should be in for Gyökeres.
Yeah, they're taking
we should be. But listen, people,
we need
man.
a left back, you know. Who's our left back? We need a left back.
I think we need two left backs. Or one left back on one side and one right back on the other side. I think we need two.
I would rather play Ahmad left back and play Dogu right wing back. I would rather play Ahmad right wing back. I'm telling you, because you know why? The left wing back, the left wing back has to have the ability to go around the player and beat him. It's not about cutting in. You have to have that ability. And this is why when you see Dogu on the right, he doesn't have to beat anyone. He can cut in and play a combination and he looks better. When you're on the left like the kid at PSG, you have to be technically better. Like that's why we don't have wingers no more. No one can beat their man in old school football where wingers like Giggs and that would beat their man with a skill and cross the ball.
Yeah, exactly. We only have Ahmad that can actually go past someone and put a ball in.
Ahmad can do that. Ahmad can beat someone.
He's the only one. But then again, you can't dribble. I've said that for years. Dribbling is effective when there is a threat of a pass. So you need a good team and able to have a good dribbler. People were criticizing the likes of Sancho and Martial because they were not taking the player on. But you can't just take a player on for the sake of taking him on. There needs to be a threat of a pass so that the defender is kind of in between, and then dribbling becomes very, very effective. So that's why because I have to be consistent. I criticize Rashford and Garnacho all the time for running into players. So I can't criticize wingers that don't run into players. I need to be coherent to some extent. And I'm much rather have someone making the right decision and making a pass. So Ahmad gets past players because he's just very, very good. That's mostly the main reason, I think. And because they know Ahmad is looking to make a pass. That's one thing as well. You need to create, like, football has changed a lot over the last few decades, but the principles are the same. You need to create space and score goals.
We got that kid coming in on the 1st of June, innit? That's why I think that United is. Remember that left back that we bought?
Which one?
Is it Lyon?
Oh yeah, Lyon.
What I saw, but I saw only clips and highlights. But so of course you can't judge that game.
You can't bank on the kid, man. You can't bank on that kid doing
but that's where United are. We're not, but United are. I'll tell you that for free.
Youth project, man.
Yeah.
But listen, people, man. Let's wrap it up here, man. I mean, it's a big game, man. I've got a flight in the morning. Me and Ash. What time we got to be there at the airport?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, man. Yo, Musa, man. Make some
what are you doing keeping us on for like 2 hours? Do you know what I mean? Got to be in bed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what we're doing here, man. We got to be in bed.
That's an early flight. How long is it? How long's the flight?
So we got to go to Geneva.
2 hours.
It's about an hour and a bit.
Living in Europe, man. Living in Europe. I'm so jealous of you.
Wow.
Living in Europe is mad because 2 hours, then you're in Spain. Like, for example, from where I live to go to Vancouver is the same distance to go to Paris or Casablanca.
Wow. Yeah, America and Canada are madness, man.
Mad.
The distances you got coming. So yeah, man. Like I said, man, I don't know, man. Them talk on Thursday could be a madness, man. It could go 2 ways. Could be.
When do you guys get back?
Thursday afternoon. So I'll be there. I'll be there.
Inshallah. Come on.
So yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. This is the biggest week, man, in United's history in a long while. Because you know why? It's what determines the next couple of years.
I don't think so. You know what? I don't think so. Because
we'll be seen as a laughing stock, bro. I'll be real with you.
If we had a good ownership, let's suppose we have, because we.
Yeah, that's the key thing that we don't. Yeah. If I knew we had a good ownership, I would say, you know what? If we lose it, I still know my board will come in and say, right,
do things. Yeah.
You know, AC Milan, by the way, have not even qualified for any European competition this year. None.
That's mad. That's mad. Because you know what, I want the Europa League not to salvage the season, just because I want that in 10 years' time we say, yeah, we won a trophy that year, and the money. But I don't want to play in Europe next season. Like I don't want to play in the Champions League.
Left back AC's got.
Yeah, so.
Theo
Hernandez, he's gonna definitely be raided this year. They're all gonna leave AC Milan now. They're not gonna stay. They're not gonna stay. So, but listen, people, man, like the video, man. Like the video. I think we
lose. I'm going missing. I'm missing. Until
I don't blame anyone. We lose, and you're missing. Well, I don't blame you.
I'm missing.
Hibernating.
You know, I'm 15 minutes away right now from that Spurs stadium. I'm missing. I'm not too far from there still.
The next day, though, they're having their parade, though, on a Friday.
It's madness. If they win.
If they win, they're having a parade on the Friday.
It's madness.
You got to get out there.
I'm out. No, I want to be out. If they win, it's madness.
To have Spurs do a parade on your head, that's peak.
Yeah, it's madness, bro. But listen, man, make sure you follow Adam Manred. Big up to you, man. Adam, as always.
As always, man. It's a pleasure, man.
Yeah. Make sure you follow Musa, man, as well. And obviously Ash Meppers, the vlog and everything like that. Make sure you follow us in there. We're going to raid Dan Potts. He's live right now as well. Make sure you follow him. But yeah, guys, man, tomorrow I'll see you at the airport, man. Meet me at the airport. You know what they say? Meet me in the car park. Meet me at the airport tomorrow.
Let's go.
I'm going to have to do some motivational speech, man. And then obviously Bilbao. We'll see what's going on. Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Bilbao, boss.